Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Unchained Haunts. I am here in Milan, Ohio today, in Milan Town Square to be exact. It kind of reminds me of Medina City Square, closer to me, but this is a lot smaller in my opinion. But today we are here talking about the crazy disappearance of the Mad Miller of Milan from the 1800s. Now, this story follows Samuel Winchester. Samuel Winchester was a normal fellow. He owned and operated a local flour mill. People would bring flour to him, mill it, grind it down so they could use it. So everything was going well in Samuel's life. At this point, he was successful. He had a good amount of money, nothing to complain about. But he had heard or saw, I think he heard about a balloon flight from someone or somehow, and he instantly became infatuated, honestly obsessed with recreating this, building his own balloon, and taking flight. This is not very uncommon for this time period, the mid 1800s, because everybody was trying to compete at that time with the Wright brothers and have their own version of flight in the aviation space. So he became so obsessed with this idea of having his own hot air balloon and taking an expedition on it that he totally disregarded his duties at the mill. He actually gifted the mill to his brother since he wanted to solely focus on this hot air balloon travel. So he started focusing on gas collection. He needed hydrogen gas, so you'd mix water, salt, and add an electrical current, and the bubbles that form at the top are hydrogen gas. So he had to find a way to collect that somehow and use it as propellant for the balloon. And obviously he was no expert in that because hydrogen gas is very flammable and he burned the mill down. In September of 1855, Samuel planned his first flight attempt here in Milan, Ohio. I'd assume somewhere close to the square here, this would be a perfect place to take off in a hot air balloon. However, there was a lot of wind in the forecast and he was going to postpone it, but there was so many excited bystanders, and at the news of this, they became very upset, and some people even say they got violent towards Samuel, but he eventually took off, and it was a very unsuccessful flight. He traveled eastward and eventually landed in a tree in Hudson, Ohio. So Samuel's second flight attempt took place here on the corner of Benedict Avenue and West Water Street here in Norwalk, Ohio on October 2nd, 1855. This is kind of what the area looks like now today. Down this stretch over here is West Water, and then this is Benedict. So it probably was somewhere over here if I were to take a good guess. So this was a pretty big event for the time. I mean, there was about 4,500 to 5,000 attendees. Local police and militia were here for crowd control. And so after takeoff, Sam drifted eastward over Berlinville and never got seen again. He disappeared. So right now I'm at Milan Cemetery. I was actually doing a video for Abbott's Tomb while I was here, which is like 100 feet behind me. But I saw on Find a Grave that Samuel's parents, Olive and Marcus, are buried here, along with his brother and other siblings. But most importantly, his brother, Timothy, who he gifted the mill to. But I was just curious to see if I could find him. But I also wanted to see if maybe Samuel had his own memorial gravestone on their family plot, which he does not. I know I saw he had his own page on Find a Grave, but there was no picture along with it. So I was kind of doubtful, but now my suspicions are confirmed. He does not have a gravestone here with his family, unfortunately. But right here is his family plot. This is Marcus, his father, Olive Winchester, his mother, Timothy Winchester, his brother he gifted the mill to, and then Stedman and a few others on this one as well. And I'm not sure if these ones are part of his family as well. I'm sure they are because they're like all on the same plot. But these are the most important ones. I kind of thought if he would be anywhere at the cemetery, they'd put him like on this side since Timothy's on this side. But I don't know. I guess not. So this is really where all the theories and the legend of the Mad Miller of Milan began. 3 days after the incident and his disappearance, a Cincinnati newspaper put out that they had found a wreckage of a balloon accident, but no signs of life. Some people believe that, some people don't. I mean, it was so long ago, it's hard to tell. The most rational and believable theory is that he crashed into Lake Erie. It's the one that I personally believe because it makes the most sense. But other people also believe that he floated off into Canada and just never came back to the United States. And some people think he did that purposefully as an escape of debts because he actually owed a lot of people money in Milan, Ohio for the mill fire accident with his hydrogen gas. So believe what you want. I personally believe he crashed into Lake Erie. It's the most rational theory, but it's fun to theorize and it's fun to, take guesses. But yeah, that was the story of the Mad Miller of Milan and the disappearance. But thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Unchained Haunts, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.